I first want to let you know my daughter is home. We have a snow day here, even though we didn't even have
Oh,
it's freezing rain. So they're just giving it a snow day. So you might hear some noises in the background at some point. So there's that. Um, and let's start with mindfulness, noticing, mindful noticing. Take a moment. I invite you to notice being here. Notice each channel you're taking in information from. As I'm inviting you, I'm noticing the little subtle humming noise coming from my computer. And the fan went on. Really noticing this weird lighting. It's daylight yet so overcast. And I'm noticing, oh, it feels good to hug my hot coffee mug. As I continue to notice, I'm tuning inward, noticing whatever sensations is present. As you scan or just survey all these channels of input, I am curious. I invite you to also maybe wonder about, is there some channels are usually given more weight than others as you go about your day? Wondering how that became a thing, pattern, or a habit. As I was asking this question, I literally noticed almost that the channel of going inward expanded. I'm more aware of tuning inward of what I'm feeling inside me. It's dark, yet it was more noticeable. But usually that was maybe given less weight. My pattern is definitely outward focus, direct action or action directed. Output directed. What about your patterns of information intake, information processing, output? If you notice some pattern, I'd like to invite you to ask this question: how was this helpful? Or if you can see the utility of that. Pattern. Could that be originated from our biology or from the environment's expectations or from our own adaptations to the environment? Or it's always safe to say it's a combination. You can continue to be curious and wander down this path, this inquiry. Or just take note of whatever you notice. And if you're interested in exploring more, maybe going back to it later when you have a moment to yourself. Now I would like you to maybe reorient to this virtual space we're in, opening your eyes if your eyes were closed. Notice what happens to your system as you reorient. Some channels are given more weight now, and others redirect our attention. I'd love to hear if you are open to sharing your experience with this mindful noticing.
I started thinking about I was noticing what I'm not allowing myself to receive or process, and kind of distracting myself from things that I should be doing, or just kind of distancing myself from the TV, the news, the social media. Um, but then I feel like kind of stuck. Um, like instead of working out at night, I'm like playing Block Blast on my phone, and I just kind of, I don't like just distracting myself.
Mhm. I'm hearing that using distraction to kind of almost protect you from unwanted or undesirable source of information is helpful. And at the same time, it has its downside. It's almost another form of dissociating
Mhm.
from the reality.
Mhm.
Yeah. Would it be okay to appreciate the utility of this answer,
Mhm.
distraction, and truly appreciate the utility it's trying to help, and invite yourself to maybe come back to grounding? I can be present, and it's okay to be present. or wonder about the question, is it okay to be present instead of kind of mentally gone to be okay? Can I be present and okay? Then maybe you get to have a choice. Oh, I can actually use this time to do something still away from the undesired source of information and yeah, be present with my body.
Mhm. Yeah. And my family.
And right,
Yeah.
yeah, great noticing. Alyssa, would you like to check in or
Uh,
pass?
I just have a bad migraine, so it's just like there, don't really want to notice. Yeah.
How has that been helpful?
But not wanting to notice.
Or if,
Um, Trying to ignore the pain, I guess, by staying, not being present.
and probably getting you through hard times.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wonder if you can invite a little bit appreciation to the utility of this answer.
Mm-hmm.
Can't see more than just what I have to do next or
Mm-hmm.
drag myself be here. Okay. Other things. Ignore, 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 ignore. Not now, not now, not now.
Yeah.
The alternative could be, or the perceived alternative could be unimaginable or completely bogged down.
Mm-hmm.
That's at least what your answer is trying to prevent from happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then, with this new awareness, you can maybe have a true assessment based on what you know. Is this moment okay or safe enough for us to notice? And is that fear realistic?
Mm-hmm.
Is that help needed, truly needed, absolutely necessary
Right.
this moment? Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but have a moment of reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, here we are. Month 9, this the ninth month. Um, we so the assignment I left was open. You can decide to go back to processing or practice the future templates. So why don't we just get into it? Is there any questions or reflections or need to be clarified before we take turns to review or get feedback on specifics. I will say, Becky, I didn't get to reply, but here we are. You showed up at the meeting, even though you literally forgot about it, and you realized on the day off. So that counts still. I appreciate the utility of whatever happened. So you can use your case. We can definitely reflect on your case, and you can use this time to actually demo with either me or Alyssa if Alyssa is open to for the future template protocol. That's a low stake, or not really no stake, but that's a protocol that's, yeah, we don't have to have a whole history. We can use it as a standalone, even though none of us have been your clients working with you for a few sessions. So that's an option too.
I want to do the case consultation for sure. And because I forgot, all of my stuff is in my office. So I don't even have like my scripts, nothing with me. It's all on my computer. But yeah, I was very ill prepared once again.
So you do have 1 month to practice and submit that. And I do think it's important for us to, it's important, it's required to see you actually carry out the future template practice. And I recommend you also get to at least walk through the restricted / recent event protocol with your client. Not necessarily, it could be a low stake memory, or if there is appropriate memory to apply that to, but you get to walk through that protocol and ask questions, to get things clarified, because that's a very helpful protocol when a client actually needs it. You want to feel comfortable using that when it's needed. Okay. So then now we get to kind of, you know the assignment for this month. If you haven't practiced that, you are gonna submit both. Okay. Questions? Alyssa, would you like to go first?
Sure.
Yeah.
Pull up my video. Is there a specific part you think?
Why don't you ask questions, or pause where you want to get feedback on first?
How about the very beginning? Let me just share the sound and share the. So immediately, wait, can you guys hear me? Before I even had a chance to click record, she was like, I do not want to go into that memory we were working on. I'm going to block it. It's not going to work, And so then I tried to further that, so also that it could be recorded so you could hear it too. Because I was like, whoa, what is happening here? it was there, I was very confused, I guess, just to see just like how um oppositional, I guess, she was towards going there. So, anyways, you'll see that.
It's just too far gone for me at this point. There's a chance that if we focus on like, I really want to work through my mom's death is what I think needs to happen, because yes, last Friday it was like a freaking flood broke loose for me.
Okay. So you don't want to work on the dad,
The DUI.
the DUI.
I just don't think we're gonna get anywhere with it.
Okay.
I think I'm just gonna block it. Like the more we do it, the more I'm gonna try and not do it.
You want to get to mom's death.
Because that's where my life became like shit.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything was like, I was thinking about this. Like, I was never a victim of generational trauma, but now I would impose generational trauma upon a child with where I'm at right now.
So then she kind of goes into a lot of talking, okay? And it's, semi-relevant. But then I was really trying to nail down what part of mom's death. And I was also trying to pinpoint, like, make space for the answer. But let's see, where was I trying to pinpoint what part of mom's death?
Sadness birthday card. She like started. She was staying at my grandma's house and started like singing happy birthday to me. But it wasn't my birthday, so she like wanted it to be there for me. But she just,
It's like this longing.
was not helpful. He was mean to me. He was very mean. He would say really bad things. Like he told me I was an evil bitch one time.
Right, like that you're asking to go down when it comes to mom and her loss, and then also present triggers, like this longing of unconditional love. I see the tie, right? Oh, in that long bit of talking, we kind of identified this attachment longing of unconditional love showing up in all of her present triggers currently, or like the most flared up one at least. I'm sure you do too. Well, do we, is it mom's death, like the actual moment she died, that's the most
I was
disturbing?
losing her.
That is that actual memory? Because we want to pick a moment in time,
It was like her presence in losing that. I think because she was my unconditional person.
Yeah.
And then, she'd start to forget.
Okay.
And she forgot my birthday.
Okay.
And she was like, and like, sadness birthday card.
So she's talking about, and dang it, I shuffled my papers a bunch, but I was looking, I did that again where I'm shuffling all my papers, but I wanted to look and see if she had ever identified a specific memory with her mom's death, which she had not. But so she started talking about, like this, how mom forgot her birthday. But then she ended up getting to, because I ended up saying, well, was there a moment with her where the unconditional love ended up stopping, or that you wanted that from her and you didn't get it? After she told me about that experience. And that's when she said, when she got put on hospice is where it kind of, and so then, so that kind of seemed like, the memory that we should go with next, like the most connected to this longing, this present trigger of not having unconditional love. And then this feeling like she has to go with something related to the loss of her mom. So that was what I felt like the best I could do with her was in that session. And then at that point, I was like, I could tell she just wanted to talk. So I gave into her answer and just was like, we can go with that memory next time and start reprocessing then. And, like just make space to talk right now. And that's what she said she wanted. So I don't know what your thoughts on it all are, but it was different.
Do you have a question, or what would you like me to give feedback on?
I guess how would you have handled that?
Um, well, before I share how I've handled, can I say what you did? Like, I see it's so beautiful this time. You are connecting the cows to deeper longing and really bring to her face the AIP, the connection. And she bought into it. She is in it. She's fully in it. And she sees the connection too. It's not just the previous session or earlier sessions. So much of that is my partner, the school, the students, or this coworker, and all that. It's just so stuck in this symptoms.
Yeah.
And everybody else should be doing better, or
Yeah.
not able to see how her reaction or her vulnerability or intolerance or certain things is coming from, or there could be connection to her past that
This need for unconditional love, like, yes, because it's like, and I know if she wanted to go down, well, so and so didn't do this.
yeah
Nothing to do with,
yeah
you know what I mean?
that's
Just
the truth.
anything.
That's the truth. We go about life, there will be things or people, or even the best reliable, most reliable person could disappoint us, or could fail to deliver what we expected from them. And yet, with this vulnerability from her childhood, you know, the ratio of, whatever ratio, it's much bigger. One,
Yeah.
there is a disappointment because that's rubbing salt on the wound.
Right.
So this I see so beautiful. She's really seeing the connection, and you guided her, or you're not like dragging her, you're just asking questions and bringing to her awareness. 1 second.
I'm so glad it's not just my daughter that does that when I'm in meetings. I'll be like, I'm in a meeting, you cannot interrupt me, and no matter what, she will not every single time. Cute.
She wanted me to have it.
Very important things.
Becky, we can't hear you, but we are reading your body language.
Yeah.
No, my 15-year-old always, and I tell the kids, because I do virtual sessions at home in my home office, and I always tell them, don't walk through, because my room, you have to walk through to get to like the attached apartment. Anyway, my son always comes walking through. He's 15. He's like, who are you talking to? How old is she? I'm like, get out of here. So he's like, do I know her? I'm like, get out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He can't see my screen or anything. So
Right. Right.
That's how he bugs me. So,
It's funny.
mhm.
Well, sounds like he's interested in your work.
Actually, he is. Yeah, he does like the volunteer stuff at school to help like with suicide prevention and
Oh,
Aw.
yeah, I know. And
nice.
yeah, he's like really into it. My husband's the school counselor at their high school. So that's like he wants to teach and be a coach and be a school counselor like his dad. And so
Cool.
anyway, yeah,
Hmm,
so
nice.
that's Eli.
Maybe, maybe what he really wants is you spending a little time sharing more of your work,
Mhm. Oh yeah,
like appropriate information,
yeah,
so he doesn't need to like run into your sessions and yeah, have a
yeah,
little sneak peek of your
yeah.
and this is a part of the work too, confidentiality,
Oh yeah.
ethics,
Mhm.
and if he's really interested in this profession, this is something he needs to really understand.
Yeah. I know.
But there's that curiosity, right?
Yeah.
I just want to know a little more.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyways, come back to Alyssa, your case. I see that as beautiful. With processing or not processing, with continuing treatment or not, with this awareness, this client now is able to see much clearly the pattern,
Hmm.
the connection.
Yeah. I hope so. Like, I really hope she can be more mindful of that. It's like, even though we did the, like, we identified attachment longings, and that seemed to stick with her initially, right? I don't think we ever spent enough time in that, maybe.
I think I said this earlier. What I realized that like I noticed that I have so many analogies of how to explain EMDR or AIP to clients. Why do I keep coming up with new analogies? I realized, oh, what I'm doing naturally is just using the client's own material or whatever their life relevance to their life. So really make it really relevant to each client. And once I'm really connected with them and the new ways of explaining things just come up, and
Hmm.
and this takes repetition. It's not just a once and done thing for psychoeducation.
Yes. Yes.
It's again and again and again, and there's a light bulb moment. Then they come back and they tell you when they are looking at the license memories log, or even without that, they can notice a current stressor and then they start wondering
Hmm.
if this feels familiar, what else, or what's that connected to? And then they can start telling you.
Yeah, absolutely.
This awareness takes repetition, and it really has to be applied to using the client's own experience.
Hmm.
So it's also a bottom up way, even though it can be top down explaining EMDR, AIP, but it's much more powerful when they can see it and experience it and make the connection themselves.
Right, firsthand. Yeah.
What are you noticing now?
What am I noticing? I'm ready for the critique.
But you are so smart.
I'm ready.
Right? This is the our pattern. Years of going through schooling, right? If you give some positive feedback, there has to be something followed by it. Yeah. What if there isn't any?
Well, Liz, we don't have to play games, so just go ahead and say it.
And I just genuinely want to invite you to notice this watch out. Like this, I don't know what to label it, but this part, oh, I hear something positive, and I don't know if I'm not sure if I can fully take in, or could that be all?
Yeah, I know. I definitely do that. Well, I like, yes, there's always a other side to it. Okay, well, how are they going to sandwich this?
Yeah. What I'm wondering is, I'm curious that part. What is that part trying to protect or
Well, it's trying
help
to help
with?
me because I always want to grow and do better. So I am anxious to know what I can do to do better always.
Okay.
Um, so that makes me anxious. Like, okay, so let's tell me like what do I need to do differently, that sort of thing.
This anxiety, I'm curious, um, how is it different from just simple excitement?
Because well, probably because I have to determine is this something I'm going to have I don't know, maybe like, is this a critique that I can that can sit okay with me, or am I gonna feel like, oh, dang it, I really screwed up?
There, that's
And then I
the,
can determine if it's, something that isn't worth feeling anxious about. Hmm.
I have a few words I would like to say. I'm curious how, if they are, yeah, your response to these words.
Okay.
What you have done in that session was just perfect as it was.
Yeah, and I don't believe you.
And there are things you can do differently, or go from where you left and explore more next session.
Yeah.
That session is over.
Hmm.
Where you are with her, with this client, yeah, is exactly where you are supposed to be, here. There's no do over. And there's no, or that part of you feel like I screwed up, or you have to feel bad about yourself. I wonder, could that be helpful in the past? Can you see if that provided?
Another snowflake. That's okay.
What I was saying, I think I was just inviting some curiosity and appreciation of that part. Um, beating beating yourself up. I screwed up. Using that to motivate you. I wonder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably.
And was that, or can you think of times it really helped?
Probably. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And is there any alternative now and moving forward?
Mm, yes, but I'm not sure of what the answer is right now.
I guess back up a little bit. I wonder where, how did you become good at putting yourself down, beating yourself up? How did you acquire that motivator and become good at that?
Um, because maybe because when I was younger, I thought like because like I grew up really fast and I like at a very young age because I had to, I actually like thought I had it figured out, and I kind of like because I didn't have it figured out anyways, and like adults would tell me like you're very mature and you're doing all the things, but then they would also be like you're 16, you don't know everything. And I don't know, like I just felt like I always had all these mixed communications. And then um, I really didn't know what I was doing. So now I think like I need to know exactly what I'm doing because even if I think I know, maybe I don't know because I definitely thought I did know for a long time.
Right.
Probably until I became a mom, and I became a mom at a very young age.
Yeah, yeah. You guys gave me a illusion that I got everything figured out, and I really
Hmm.
didn't. That's a lie. And now I have to really question, doubt myself a lot. What else I didn't figure out?
Hmm.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
because nobody really taught me a whole lot. Oh, they taught me a whole lot of what not to do.
yeah,
But so anyways.
yeah. That's kind of a mission impossible. How else I could learn if I didn't learn from you guys, showing me again and again my real role models.
So yeah, I made a lot of big mistakes. And now I'm like, oh gosh, please tell me I didn't make a mistake.
Does it, okay, then does it feel or sound believable that, yes, no, you didn't make any major mistakes?
Yeah, I think I'm slowly starting to believe that, like in my work, like, okay, maybe I do have this, but then it's like, as soon as you think you got it, you're humbled. And no, you don't.
Mhm. Good awareness. And I know you mentioned you have your own therapist that you're working with. I would really invite you to, okay, I wonder what kind of vulnerable experiences was underneath that belief. Don't get ahead of yourself, or those, there must have been really hard experiences that you forced yourself to always be vigilant, not to feel relaxed or feel good about yourself, because you want to always not be surprised again.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to be prepared.
Right. And maybe this vigilance is really protective and helpful. And do you really have to be this protective now, vigilant
Right.
all the time? It's exhausting.
Yeah.
And we know, even from research, this kind of what's the rod, or beating yourself up, or the whip, and this kind of motivation is never as effective as the positive incentive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm doing good enough, and there is something I can do better, and I did good enough this session, and I'm excited, or I would like to learn how or if what I could do next time.
Makes sense.
What do you notice now?
Mm, that's helpful just to make sure that I'm not being so hard on myself or expecting the worst out of, criticism or critique or feedback.
And just a thought, I wonder, now that we've been together, or kind of on this journey for good 9 months. Yeah, I'm not perfect. Or what's your overall, at this point, reflection on this learning journey? How is
It's,
it, yeah,
oh,
different or the same compared to previous other experiences?
mm, more like it's it's okay to learn as you go a little bit. Like you don't have to have it all figured out. Because at first I was like, I need to read all these things and learn all these things now. Um, but it's okay to just learn it as you go a little bit.
Yeah. So now I'm going to repeat what I said a moment ago. Your last session was perfect as it was. And you can continue to learn or to improve the next session, next time. What do you notice this time?
Yeah, I definitely agree with the second half. Um, yeah.
Yeah. notice that the first half is still hard, not 7 yet.
Yep.
Hmm. Work in progress,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not 1, is it?
Correct. Right.
Yeah, good. Um, if anything, I also think you not pushing to what you pre-planned agenda that's following or trusting the client's nervous system, right? Um, and door is not shut. Or maybe she's right outside. I could hear her presence. Um, I, I, I wonder what was going on in your head as you were trying to process the information she brought in, the presentation she brought in, and to carry on that session.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, we gotta identify this next memory. What, where are we going now? And like, that's fine. Yeah, of course, there's like a little bit of worry, like, dang it, we didn't finish that other one. It's incomplete. Um,
They might, no, I'm not done. Close my door. That's not acceptable. I will come out when I come out, okay?
so there was that, but then I'm just like, well, that's okay. This is her healing process, and she knows her body best. And this is something like she has mentioned was like, I don't know if it was 1 or 2 sessions ago, like she really wants to get to the stuff related to mom and dad. So I wasn't completely shocked, but also like, I guess I didn't expect her to be like, so I'm not going there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, well, it's a weird thing. Like, is that her answer? Is that her trusting herself? You know,
Hearing that, I'm just I could hear that internal process is taking you out of the present moment with her, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Can you please go downstairs? You're making too much noise. Thank you.
He's fine.
So this is a great learning moment to, if you can recognize that, what could be helpful to bring you back to the present moment, right there with her.
Well, you were in my head too, like stay in the present moment, stay in the present moment. So I
Yeah,
was working on it. Like I did bring
yeah,
myself back and just be in this moment, just be in this moment. And
yeah,
so I think it's just like a work in progress.
exactly. You rode with it. There was a brief, like, where do I go?
Yeah.
I do have a tip or yeah, something you might want to try when I'm wondering or having this internal it does take time to kind of process what's going on. I learned or I become more comfortable of just saying it out loud with my client.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
I'm hearing you are so adamant. Oh, I was hoping we could revisit the memory, and I'm hearing you are really, your system is pretty pretty adamant. Yeah, no, that's
Mm.
not what you need. Is that what you? Okay, yeah. Just stay with whatever is here, even if it's
Yeah.
an internal, our own feelings. Oh,
Mhm.
I'm not surprised. Like just what you verbalize. I'm not totally
Mhm.
surprised. You, yeah, mentioned that you wanted to go to those
Mhm.
memories, and I was still a little surprised that you were so firm and adamant. In a way,
Mhm.
it sounds like it's an for a people pleaser to say things. Oh, that's kind of what? Yeah, that's kind of a new experience for this client.
Mhm.
Can you go downstairs, please? Now, this is not helpful. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, this is not helpful. Thank you. She wants her screen time.
Oh, kid.
All life.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you notice with that reflection?
I feel better about that like concept and the idea of just talking it through. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have done that before actually, and it is helpful. Um, so I just need to be more comfortable with that more often.
And the more experiences you are getting, then instead of secretly trying to scramble a new plan, you are still working out a new whatever direction with the client.
Mm-hmm.
That connection, you are on the same page, is so reassuring for both of your systems.
That's true. And that, yeah, that helps build rapport.
And wherever that the rest of the session goes, is all okay then.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Another thing I hear even when you reflect on the session was trying to identify a specific moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with that, I want to clarify that when we do finding the root under the answer, when we identify a memory target, we want to know there is a moment in time. So it's kind of a felt sense. That moment I felt I'm alone, or that in that setting. So kind of want to find a portal to go into the
Mm-hmm.
memory target or time capsule.
Mm-hmm.
Once we identify a memory, especially with the let's say that, especially with memory system clients that their memories are not, a lot of things may be dissociated and blocked out, or it may be they are their concept or the whatever the system is noticing may not be as concrete a moment in time. It's
Okay.
for her sounds like she had this perception that her life dramatically changed before and after mom's passing away.
So do I just go with that as the target?
I might talk a little more just that shift. Like, what's the worst part? If the worst part, I may or may not know, or I'm may or may not be right, but you want to talk a little bit about what's the worst part of that memory. I think I heard her say her life just turned into shit after. And that if she has an image, it doesn't have to be an actual image from the memory. If she has a constructed image or imagine some way abstract that literally I'm all fine and I fell into a shithole or something,
Mm-hmm.
we can use that too.
Okay. That makes sense.
It could be just, it might be a cluster of memories.
So that is okay, a cluster of memories.
Yes, but we still want to try to get a image. My guess is vision or visualization is such a big input of our experience. We want to have a kind of a concrete kind of a image that can help us to really flip the switch on.
Mm-hmm.
We work with dreams. We work with stories, like stories I don't concretely can remember actually what happened, but I can picture a baby me crying, nobody responding, right? So this kind of a picture is very powerful, right? So much of our brain is dedicated to vision.
Okay.
It's similar to a story, and if I can picture an image, or even if some cases clients, when I bring up that story or that it's just pitch black, darkness, endlessness, go with that. What does that make you feel about your self-worth? What words go best with that? Just grab negative belief about you. I'm not safe. I'm terrified. Yeah, something. So you go with that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that's helpful. That's good to know.
And then once you activated the system going in, you might notice this is a whole cluster of different events, and if they seem to be still moving and processing kind of related, follow the system. If you feel like went too strayed too far away, or you feel like you're lost, you can always just go back to the original memory and let
Go
the
back to the image.
guide you from there.
Okay.
Yeah. Another thought is there's nothing wrong, and you just talked through the rest of the session. And I want to remind you that you have experienced the power of reprocessing something, even just the 5-10 minutes of reprocessing. The effect could be like many sessions of talking,
Okay. Yeah.
right? And you don't have to always. I wonder if there is a part of you felt bad about interrupting the talking,
Maybe.
or needing to meet her, need to keep talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I also, yeah. Also, I just wanted to, like, I felt like it once we started that with that mom memory, it was going to be very difficult for her and require a lot of time. And I wanted to be able to make space for that and like have that time for her. And at that point, I didn't feel we had that time.
Beautiful. Would you be comfortable to just verbalize that and make that explicit?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a hard time to end, and this
Mm-hmm.
is like it's a big target. We want to get into it and
Yeah.
clean up as much as possible within one session, and we have only 20 minutes left or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hearing there is part of you just need to be heard, just want the story to come out verbally and someone to be here to hear it. And this is totally fine. Let's just be with the emotions and as you tell me what happened. And
Mm-hmm.
does not replace reprocessing. And we can make a plan to come back next session and go into reprocessing with it.
Yeah.
And this verbal processing still can process a lot, can be
Mm-hmm.
effective to a good extent. But again, no secrets going on, right? You may,
Yeah.
if you feel like you can, oh, I wonder, like being curious about what's showing up, this curiosity is here, and that's the only thing I would be holding in my mind as I'm with the client. And pretty soon I'll find the opportunity to kind of really bring it to our shared awareness
Mm-hmm.
explicitly. That's maybe I would do. And I've also had plenty of experiences feeling I had to have a plan or I had to figure out something. I am trying to get a client somewhere and they are not, and plenty of sessions being where exactly you are. And that's okay too.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you noticing now?
That's helpful. I feel good about that, going forward. And that, I have to pee.
Perfect time for a break. I need to go downstairs. um, 9 minutes. Come back at 50. Now my cat is meowing at the door. No, you can stay there.
It's okay.
Yeah, she's gonna be okay.
Is it okay if I take a call All really quick from a parent.
Okay, yeah. You can mute yourself. Life happens. Can you hear her?
Yeah. We had to put our cat down a couple months ago. She was 23. She was really, really old. It was so, she looked 23 toward the end. But yeah, so I heard that meow and I was like, yeah, I miss having a cat around, but nobody else does. So yeah.
Wow, did you have her all 23 years?
No, I had her about 20 of those years.
That's still,
Yeah.
wow.
Mhm. I had her and her sister, but her sister, we had to put her down, my gosh, probably 6 or 7 years ago. And just because she got old and, sickly, and it was time. And then this cat just went on and on and on. She was still eating using the litter box, but she was just skin and bones. So it was time.
Yeah, oh my.
Yeah. No, we're okay. She had a very, very long life, longer than we thought it ever would be.
I thought 15 was old for a
Oh
cat.
yeah. Is that how old your cat is?
No, she's a
Oh,
kitty. She's just
oh,
6 months old.
oh, well, you might have her another 22 and a half years. Yeah.
Mm. We're just talking about cats.
Oh,
You didn't miss much.
No.
Mm. All right. Becky, you take over.
You just want me to describe
Hmm.
okay. I'm gonna pull up my note just so I don't forget anything. So I've been working with a 16-year-old female. Probably, gosh, we're probably coming up on 1 year. So a couple months ago, we started talking about EMDR and started the process. So she is, I think when she initially started with me, it was encouraged by her mom. She was making some poor choices. And she's like, she had just a boyfriend that was really not a healthy relationship. And she's she is a good kid. I mean, they're all good kids, but she doesn't get in trouble. She doesn't get in trouble at school. She's an athlete. She gets good grades. But she just started like hanging out with one of her friends and drinking. And then she had this boyfriend who was just, ugh, he was would just pressure her to do things that she didn't want to do. But she did in person, over the phone, with pictures and all kinds of stuff. So, and she's honest about it, and she's honest about it once she gets caught. So her mother keeps an eye on her phone and she sees all this stuff that's going on. But anyway, so a lot of it is the crisis of the week. It typically centers around boys. And it's not several boys. It's the first one who was just thank God. I thought she was done with him completely. There was another one in the middle, and then now she has a new relationship. So a lot of it is just about like talking through just kind of the expectations of relationships and just so much pressure to to engage sexually. And when I mean, she knows she wants to take her time, but feels pressured for things to be rushed. And that's her answer is she's such a people pleaser. She doesn't make decisions for herself. She agrees to things when she knows that that's not what she wants. And she doesn't want anybody to be mad at her. So, yeah. So that's her. She's a beautiful girl, just absolutely beautiful. Doesn't see that, but I think she recognizes the that she can use that to get attention, but not in appropriate ways. So so we started, I knew that there had been, a separation of the parents. And so we started digging deeper into, her history. And that's when we were doing the memories and and then that's when we started to discover like a lot of things she disclosed to me that she hadn't before, because we were always dealing with whatever the crisis of the week was. Um, so she identified, let me see, I think she identified like 5 memories, 6. Um, oh, yeah, back in the fall, the first boyfriend, that ex, she invited him over in the middle of the night. He snuck into the house and she didn't go into detail, but she said he forced her to do things she didn't want to do. She said no. Her parents do know about it. So that was her most recent, traumatic event. And then age 15 was another breakup with actually like a fairly healthy relationship. Age 14 was the breakup with the first guy. Age 10 was her dad leaving. Like her image is dad leaving the house with his suitcases. Also at age 10, taking her siblings like into the bathroom when her parents were fighting. And then age 7, that's the memory that we did first. Her parents fighting and her dad drinking. So yeah, so that's what we did. So we started with the memory at age 7 when she that was like, she thinks that was the age when she first remembers the parents fighting and witnessing domestic abuse. And her dad's an alcoholic. He did leave the home. He's back in the family home. So yeah, he says he doesn't drink anymore, but anyway, very concerned parents. And she also has talked about there's been sexual abuse in the family. Her dad and her uncle were sexually abused, I think, by a stepdad, another male in the family. And I've asked her, if she
She's
has any
aware of
memories,
that.
if she has any memories of that. And she didn't say, she just said no. I don't think she's denying it completely, but she's wondering if something had happened to her as well when she was younger. Um, so that's the family history somewhat. Oh, there was more. Oh, no. And then she said like her dad does have a history, this is per mom, of sexual addiction. So she's starting to question herself, like, do I have an addiction like my dad? Like my mom says my dad has had. Um, so yeah, and her negative belief about herself is I'm not good enough. And that has just completely carried over into her friendships, her relationships, um, sporting events, everything. She just never feels good enough. And she's always, oh, she's just always, she doesn't take the lead. She follows and she'll do what anybody else wants her to do. Even if she knows that that's not what she wants or she knows she shouldn't. So yeah, so that's her. So we just only did the one time of the processing of the first memory. and it was incomplete. Um, she got pretty dysregulated throughout, and continued. Um, yeah, so that's that. That's my new one. I always I always choose the doozies, but my fear, I don't know. I have this fear that she's going to, and I put it in my consultation, that I don't know if she, like, if she does disclose sexual abuse, if that memory comes out. I kind of fear that, because something tells me that there's a good chance that could happen.
What's your fear?
Hmm?
What is your fear?
Yeah, it's always just being very protective of these kids, and not wanting them to hurt. So that it's always that for me. It's hard to see them really dysregulated, and yeah, I don't know. I just worry about her. So,
What are you noticing in your body right now as your brain was?
I just feel anxious about it. I know overall, I mean, I trust and I know that this is so helpful for her. But just the process is frightening, because it's going to be difficult.
Frightening
I mean, they
to
all are, I
her or
guess.
to you?
How?
Frightening to you or to her?
Probably to both of us. I mean, but more so to her. But I don't know. I do think that she is a strong individual. So maybe I'm not giving her that credit.
Where do you feel this anxiety?
Just like in my shoulders, like immediately tensing up.
Would it be okay to sense into this tension, tensing up? If this motion or tension is the action potential, right? Wanting to do something. What is your body trying to do?
Um, I don't, like, go into action, like do something. That's what it feels like.
To protect, fix.
Yeah, both of those. Hmm.
Can you think of times this urge to jump into action to protect or fix things was helpful?
Oh, I mean, yeah, yeah.
Millions of times.
Yeah. And I do think actually that comes easy for me, is to jump. It does. Like, crisis stuff comes easy for me. Like, I can jump right in and do it well.
Yeah,
Um, but I think it's the longer drawn out things that I just need to have the patience for. So,
I
yeah.
wonder if this was an answer, like jumping into action,
Mhm.
doing something right away to change things or to prevent things, bad things from happening.
Mhm.
What what did it help? What was the utility of this answer? What did you really help with?
What's fixing things? Is that what
Jumping
you
into action, doing something.
um just, I mean, helping to make a difference, to protect somebody or keep somebody safe, um, or to de-escalate, redirect, all that stuff. So just to calm things down.
I'm also curious if that also helped you to manage or stop feeling some big, intense, scary feelings inside.
Mm. Yeah, could be. Because there's not a lot of time to think.
Right? If you are in action, you don't have to be in the messy, intense, helplessness, powerlessness, or whatever, be out of control.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So now we kind of wondered about the origin story of your answer, jumping into action. Literally tensing up your muscles, ready to spring into action. Can you take a moment to appreciate how helpful it was for you
Mhm.
in the past? Or maybe still sometimes in the present.
Mhm. I honestly can't remember like when that was a skill that I used or something I did in the past. I mean, maybe like, when I played basketball or something like that, like I had to think quickly. But I don't know. I feel like as I um was older and like out of college and started working, that then I knew that that was something I could do. But I honestly don't remember like having to really deal with crisis like that much before then.
Well, the definition of crisis may not be like there. I don't believe there is a universal definition of crisis. The trigger is it's our autonomic nervous system modulated or by our past experience. Then we have our own threshold. What is
Right, right.
crisis? What is a
Mhm.
trigger? And then we automatically jump into action for you. And then I stop feeling that whatever
Right. Yeah.
out of control.
Hmm.
Right. So no comparison with others.
Right. Yeah. No, I see what you mean. Just that was something that I developed probably early on when stuff was going on. I was able to um, kind of handle it and move on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's becomes such a habit. And just yeah.
Mhm.
Would it be okay to just sit in this new awareness, recognize it's just become a second nature? It must have helped. We don't even need to know details, but just this, we call that's what we call it compassionate assumption. We assume
Mhm.
it was developed out of necessity. Maybe take a few breaths and savor this new perspective. It's just so me, so ingrained, so automatic, so helpful. I wonder what was what what were you needed when you were little, when you were young, when you were going through challenging times. What were you really needed? What you really needed and couldn't get from your environment. Therefore, you had to. take actions on your own.
Yeah. Not a lot of nurturing. Very much yeah, it's just living with my dad who worked all the time, with various nannies in and out. So yeah, I took care of myself. I did my own laundry and cooked and
Right.
all that. So
Now you are a mom. You are taking care of your own kids and other people's kids. And you could see
mhm,
all the ages that what you really needed but didn't get.
mhm,
A reliable, dependable adult just being there for you. It's
mhm,
okay. You don't have to work so hard, or you can count on me. I'm here for you. Everything is going to be okay.
mhm. Yeah, and I share that with the kids, not all the time, but just that, the decisions that they're making, they don't have anybody to talk to about that, except, I mean, and that's why they're coming to see me. And I'll share with them, I didn't have anybody to talk about these things with. So that's probably why I do the work I do.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, and often think like how different things would have been or could have been, or maybe not, had I had that person. So yeah, I just don't want these in this just don't want these kids to make all these destructive choices. Um, so that's what I'm trying to help them with.
So great that they have you, and one person that they can come and trust, and
Mhm,
not having to pretend everything is okay. They have to deal with everything on their own.
mhm.
Now, I got an idea. I would like to invite you. It's optional, totally optional, to maybe try giving that younger self, whatever age you want to choose. If you can picture a younger version of you and you being there, saying those things, or giving her that experience you are giving to so many other kids
Mhm.
in your mind's eye. I wonder if you're open to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it. Um, but then again, there's not. So it's, it can go as deep as having the nurturing and the guidance, but it's also very practical, like how to cook or how to, um, I don't know, like navigate, paperwork to go to college. So yeah, that's where my mind went, was just having some guidance.
I hear you. There's
Hmm.
also just this kind of missing experiences just everywhere. It's hard to even pick up one situation to start.
Mhm.
Feels like there's so many times, so many places you could have used a little
Mhm.
support and guidance. Let's say, would it be okay to use the cooking? How old were you? You had to figure out cooking on your own.
Oh, probably middle school. But I mean, but it was like, you know, it was like microwave junk, you know, like it wasn't really, it was survival, like just that kind of food. Um, no, I never really learned how to like prepare good meals
Right.
and all that. Yeah, that's okay. I don't enjoy cooking. My husband's a really good cook, thank God. I know.
Yeah.
So,
Would it be okay to pay that middle schooler a visit in your mind's eye? And stay with her for a moment.
yeah, and when I think about it, I don't feel like a lot of sadness. It's just like my thought is you did what you had to do. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. You're letting her know.
Hmm.
You were tough and you were still tough.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, really, what I was inviting you to do, or where we inviting you to go, is to see the absolute necessity of you jumping into action, taking charge, doing whatever needed to be done. This answer, how helpful. That was out of survival,
Hmm.
truly. And with that new awareness or perspective, here you are in your whatever your current age, your current profession, working with a teenager, using this model. You understand this model deeply, right? Is it necessary, again, at this point, in the session with this client, to let your answer take a break? You can just right here with me. If truly needed, we need to make a call, we need to do something, there's imminent threat or danger, or the client is really out of window tolerance, or these are appropriate actions to take, and you will have the tools to take those actions. But unless they are there, that these, would it be okay to just sit back and go with that?
Oh, sure.
It, the 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 dysregulation is necessary
Hmm.
as long as they are still responding. It can appear to be extremely painful, because it was extremely painful. That's exactly how the old memories were stored. Right? And you sitting or holding space and being this, like, grounding, holding container, safety container, is what makes it okay to go through whatever painful emotions, body sensations. Okay, they can actually get through it, and that could be the last time they ever feel that again.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, thank you. That gave me a whole new awareness. It's like an epiphany today.
This is
For
our
real, it is. It's like something I've never really realized, but
yeah. We can we can talk about the client, the case, what you do exactly,
mhm,
skills all day long. And when your system is, your answers are literally triggered to wanting to help, yeah,
mhm,
jump in. This awareness of, oh, thank you. And this exactly what needs to happen.
mhm.
We are all good. I was just oh, are we close? Yeah, close to our time. Yes, right, 3:30.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, time flies.
Yeah, the sun actually just came out here. It was like in my eyes for a second. So that's nice.
Oh, nice. We're so dark. Well, yeah, gloomy here. Um, I also, I was also curious. How was it when you went through the basic training, being in the client role?
Mhm.
I wonder, yeah, how was your experience?
Um, Good. Well, the first week was yeah, I mean it was a good experience. And it was one that I felt way more than I thought I was going to. So that was good. Um, but anyway, and then the second week I was with somebody who was just like, yeah, I don't want to do this. So when we would go to break, she was just like, yeah, we'll just come back here afterwards. And so I didn't really get to do much the second week. Um, but yeah, no, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of our answer, that's what our answers help us
Mhm.
to, whatever thing information is too overwhelming, too hard for the time back then. Our answers keep having that being protected, like our system being protected. But our answers don't necessarily know this is different. We are actually okay and have expanded our capacity to deal with that material. So in session, when we are with clients, that's they are stuck in their survival state, or they are showing very activating state, our answers can be activated. It happens just all
Mhm.
the time, right? Having the awareness now is like, oh, okay, my answer is just trying to help. Thank
Mhm.
you. And
Yeah.
we are all good right now.
Mhm.
So this your own experience going through that's the best reassurance to refer back to. This client, whatever answer they may have, she may have, it has always been helping her to keep that extra activation, overwhelming part tucked away. And she will be showing a lot more than she may anticipate, but you are still here
Mhm. Oh yeah.
with that. Go, yeah, um, let it be as big as it needs to be. It's safe to feel that. Those encouraging statements, right? You're doing great. Yeah, it's been there for a long time. It was really hard. feel it for her, like for the younger parts. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So I would like you to practice for the next round future template protocol. Use it as a standalone since you haven't completed. So the clarification, 2 ways to use the future template protocol. One is you complete the past memories, work through all the present triggers, and if there's still future situation, if you really applied the SAFE model most of the time, the client is already showing you behaviors in a very different place, and they're already living like showing it differently, interacting and responding differently. A lot of times we don't really need to use the future template protocol. They're good to go, right? Because we cleaned up the past thoroughly. Whatever the past haven't been cleaned up, we trust the protocol. When we reevaluate or when they bring in their new present triggers, that's a clue or that can lead to earlier memories. Either we work with the client, decide, okay, seems like the earlier target, maybe there's still more stuff. Would it be okay for us to revisit that? Or the client may not be explicitly or on board with that. Maybe we're targeting some present trigger or later memory, but we might kind of see deeper layers from the past may show up and just get processed together. Oh, I've never gotten that. How can I know how to ask for or whatever? You see the layers, right, in the processing. However it's cleaned up, it can be really winded ways, but the ultimate goal is to all the past will show up, whatever haven't been cleaned up when we reevaluate. When in doubt, reevaluate. But I do want you to use the future template as a standalone. If you can use one of the present triggers you identified and see if one of them is going to be recurring and apply that, or just work with your client, identify something is coming up in their life. They could use some preparation to better cope. And I would like to also see you at least walk through the restricted / recent event protocol with a memory. So each of that may take 20 minutes. So it can still be done within an hour or one session time. Any questions? And one more thing, this is your last opportunity to review all the worksheets. If there's anywhere not sure about the intention or could use some clarification, that's the opportunity to go over that and bring your questions next time. And I will remind you that when you apply for the EMDRIA certification, you are going to be asked to write a affidavit or something, like need to be certified that I've worked with at least 25 clients, 50 sessions in EMDR. And that is up to you to make that statement. And so this kind of work does take practice, like building your own database. It might take time to actually accumulate that experience. will
Is
be,
there is there a set amount of time that those hours have to be accumulated?
I don't know. I don't think
Okay.
so.
Okay.
Yeah. But you review the requirement.
Right.
Here, when you complete next month's, you will get a letter from me to satisfy that hours of consultation you completed.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, good. All good. I'll see you next month. Okay?
Okay. Bye. Thank you.